What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on these on the Fever, man. I think the Fever they have an uphill battle when it comes to trying to get out of this, to advance in these playoffs. They're going up against the Atlanta Dream. They lost game one. Let me see what the score was. What was the final score to the Atlanta game? But all right, so it was 68-80, right? So they lost by 12 points. And like I said, it's an uphill battle, man, when they don't have without Caitlin Clark. I recall, I think I recall they beat the Indiana Fever beat Atlanta early in the season, but that's back when they did have Caitlin Clark. And so now that they don't have Caitlin Clark, like I said, it's going to be an uphill battle for them. But the playoffs are here. I don't see so far. I don't see any upsets or anything. Minnesota they beat the Golden State Valkyries, by like about 19 points or something like that. Well, no, almost down there 29. Yeah, like 28, 29 points. New York beat Phoenix. That was good. That was a good game. And so, yeah, man. Lost. Let me see. Yeah, so I don't know what I don't know what the Fever can do though to really to beat the Atlanta Dream. That's gonna be a tough. Really, it's gonna be tough. Even if they get past Atlanta, then they most likely have to probably face either the Aces. Who in that bracket that I think they're probably either the Aces or Seattle. I wouldn't really worry about, like, if Seattle was to upset the Aces, then you could say that the Fever could have more of a chance of beating Seattle than they would the Aces. The Aces right now just on a tear with their winning 16 in a row, and I know they're hoping to make it 17 in a row going into these playoffs. You want to get there and establish yourself. They've been pretty focused though. Asia Wilson, she's been pretty focused, been doing her thing, basically carrying the team. And like I was saying earlier today in the live podcast, that throughout this whole season, Asia Wilson has been she's been steady, and what she won another MVP, league MVP, so she's been steady, right? And she been doing her thing for the whole season. They didn't crack, as far as like their team just stuck together throughout the rough times, and like I said, they're on a 16-game winning streak. But I'm just looking for, like, what can the Fever do to get past this Atlanta team. Now it's going to take a like almost a heroic type performance from Kelsey Mitchell. She's gonna have to really, like, offensively, she's gonna do her thing. She's gonna take the bulk of the shots offensively. But also she's gonna have to set the tone on defense too. They're gonna need some, because this is the time of year, like when you talk about playoffs and stuff like that, this is the time of year where you got to play at both ends. It's not enough to just outscore people, just to focus on your offensive side of the game. You got to go down that other end and strap up too. And so hopefully for Kelsey Mitchell and really all of the Fever, they're gonna have to really do it on defense. I know that their coach, Stephanie White, is a defensive, she's more defensive minded. So hopefully she can get them to step their game up defensively, and then that will give them a better chance of getting past the Atlanta Dream. I think Atlanta is also a good team, defensively. So if they don't want to get blown out or get swept, they're gonna have to step it up at the defensive end. I don't even worry about, like, the Fever when it comes to scoring. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, I don't worry about them scoring. I know that they'll be able to get their buckets. but they're going to have to go down the other end and stop somebody. They just really going to have to contest and stop. And I think all throughout the season, I think Stephanie White was trying to get them to really to step up on their defense. Step up at the defensive end. And this is where it's going to show. I don't, right now I don't have the stats for Kelsey Plum, but like her offensive stats really don't matter. Like I said, she's gonna get her buckets. They lost by, I think they lost by like about 12 points. But you gotta stop somebody. This like defense wins championships, and that's all it comes down to is defense. They got an uphill battle. If they can't play no defense, I don't see them going anywhere. And right now, all their best players, like I said, they probably have one or two players that are solid on defense, but they don't have nobody on defense that's really, is going to hold people under their average or make people do other than the things that they like to do. Take something away from the offensive players. They don't have that type of they don't have that in their lineup right now. Especially with the people. Sophie Cunningham is out. Then you have like the injuries that they have, so they can, and then they can't run different bodies at people. Like they short staff, so they got their work cut out for them. But hopefully they don't get swept at least, and hopefully they make a good showing in these playoffs though. But I don't know. I think they're going to, like I said, really have to buckle down and play some defense. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I will check you all out in the next episode. Peace.